Hello gang, welcome back to The Long Dark. My name is Lonelywolf and I'm welcoming you guys back once again to our journey to Timberwolf Mountain. We're well rested up after hanging out in the abandoned preppers cache, and the full rest bar we can get up this rope no problem. Just gonna take a quick little break on the ledge, listen to her breathe heavily, and cringe as I don't even have enough room to pick up any of these sticks or cedar firewood because I'm literally riding the weight requirement, like barely. Any more weight and I will be too heavy to be climbing this mountain. Ah, look, just like I was talking about last episode, we got a wolfer boy down there. I should be rested up. Let's finish this climb. We are nearly here to Timberwolf Mountain. Up around this bend and we will be there. I plan to stay at Timberwolf Mountain a fair amount of time. First off, of course, I want to get all that good loot down and to the base of the mountain. And then I just love the region itself. And we're going to see how long we can survive there and completely explore it. Because there's a lot I haven't ever explored there. And we're going to make a grand experiment of climbing down the north face. Is it the north face? The south face? Whatever. The front face of the mountain. Get back down to the hut after collecting our loot because we're going to be fully loaded. I'm literally going to drop behind everything except for an arrow or two for self-defense. And the bow. All other tools except for a hacksaw will be left behind when we actually go for the summit. Of course, there's still a bunch of craters down in what I would consider ground zero that are easy enough to collect. And so we'll be getting those to begin with. Anyway, this is what you'll first experience upon coming into Timberwolf Mountain. Enough peaks to surround you for days, but there's only one we're really totally concerned about climbing, and that is, of course, Timberwolf Mountain. Now this area should be nice and free and clear of predators on your grand entry here, but that is no guarantee. There can be predators around every corner at any moment, so you do need to play it careful, play it safe. This is a region where you'll have very little options at your disposal for getting out of a pinch if you're not careful. If you get stuck in something of your own fault, it will be difficult to get out. There is a region this is considered, or there is a reason this region is considered one of the hardest to survive in, besides Forlorn Muskeg. And that's simply due to the constraints of the verticality of the map. There's not a whole lot of free movement available to you, and the areas that are available to you can be infested with the hostile wildlife that you probably don't want to be giving hugs to on a regular daily basis. Although I'm just taking the high ground here to double check and make sure there are no predators in this area, although I've yet to ever see one here. So if this is your first time ever visiting Timberwolf Mountain, which it possibly is, of course the first thing you come across is a pair of twisted and broken landing gear. And some natural meds we're going to snap up right here. And you're going to want to head and follow the land to your right as we aim towards getting to the Mountaineer's Hut to drop off all my existing loot and prepare to start collecting some new stuff. Not going to be anything of immediate value that you'll be able to see anywhere, just broken bits of metal and plane. That's kind of what exists, is to lead you towards safety and shelter. You can always head on up towards your left. There is a cave up there you can shelter in, but I wouldn't recommend it. It's not entirely safe. There are predators that direction, especially a bear. Your best bet, as always, is to make it to what shelter there is that is safe, and that is the Mountaineer's Hut. It's a nice, beautiful, snowy day here for our entrance. Not windy, really. Plenty warm for us. Of course, with Stalker, it is possible to get the best gear early on. As you can see, when I go to my days, we're only on day 15. And I'm set. Ooh, there is a moose here. I have not been in this region really much since the moose has landed, except for just brief testing periods. So I do not know where all the moose spawns are possible at. All I know is I don't want a pair of broken ribs. There's no moose right over here. Can't hear him really. Won't see any other moose markings on these trees. Assuming it'll be safe to come up the backside here, up this hill. It would appear so. Well, now the grand question is, where is that moose? If I can down him, I can get that hide curing and have a satchel for when we do attempt to summon it. Obviously, we won't be summoning right away. Now, this will become, if you are ever staying in Timberwolf Mountain, a mainstay of your visit. Crystal Lake. Nestled up in here between the mountain, which we obviously can only see the beginnings of right there with that hillside, and the Mountaineer's Hut, which will be your place of shelter, most likely. Now, if you didn't bring any materials with you, it's very easy to see. We have plenty of supplies here. A mountaineering rope. We got some matches here. Another hunting knife to add to my collection. And a fair amount of firewood to start us off with, as well as some other supplies here. A storm lantern being one of them. A little note left behind. It's Climber's journal page. Dialogues. Him heading up, you'll find his body on the mountain if you go up there. And that, let's see if there's anything good in this drawer. Now, if you're wondering, there's not much storage here beyond what you can just set stuff out, but there is this hatch, and it has a lot of room. It just has some boots. It usually has clothes. Anyway, we're going to deposit all my unwanted collection of items in it. We're going to start by getting rid of all my food. I only brought the 1 tin of coffee. That could prove detrimental later on, but we'll see. Okay, I have plenty of meds on me. Let's get rid of all the firewood stuff. What I'm doing here is I am transferring pretty much everything I don't want out of my backpack to get me straight down to the lowest possible weight. I'll only take what's necessary with me. Alright, we got ourselves down to 36 pounds. Now it's time to get exactly the necessary implements. Obviously bedroll's one. Obviously can opener. Well, actually, you know what? We don't need the can opener. Come to think of it. Need that. We want a hunting knife. We'll leave the pry bar alone. There's no lockers for us to worry about. We can leave the sewing kit behind. We'll take my 4 best arrows. Plus 1 good arrow. And my bow. We'll leave the whetstone here. We don't need the whetstone on us at all times. Supplies, can leave all that there. I will put the cloth back, actually. Now food. We're going to be packing light when we do go to summit. I'm going to go ahead and leave the food with me for now. I don't know why I actually dumped it out, but whatever. Clothes is good, meds good, that's good. So yeah, when you do summit the mountain, you want to try and be below 45 pounds when it comes to collecting things. You want to be as low weight as possible. It's partially why I kind of want to go and hunt that moose to get his hide. However, nighttime is coming, so it's not a good idea to be out and about too much. Now this is Stalker, of course, so wolves are our primary concern, and we have 2 that patrol Loot Lake. Loot Lake? This isn't Fortnite. Crystal Lake. And there's more off that direction. This whole area is infested with wolves, but you should be safe up around the Mountaineer's Hut here. I would recommend when you're... Oh, why did I leave the cattail stuck behind but keep the head? Well, I will need that for fire starting implements, I guess. Anyway, when it comes time to getting all this stuff taken care of, when you do plan to begin your rounds of collecting resources from up on the higher regions of the map, that's when you're definitely going to want to clear out the wolves. I would recommend just shooting them and letting them die, be it with a rifle or your bow, and not harvesting them. Because if you don't harvest them, ooh, what did I just get? A nice badge. I'll have to implement that in my next interloper run. Let's see if I can find it. Yeah, this weather's turning into a blizzard. I was gonna do some exploring, but yeah, we have time. We'll just get the fishing hut real quick. We have time to be out in a blizzard for that. There's some bunnies over there you can snare up as well. There's this fishing hut for food if you decide you need it. A hatchet! I believe that's my first hatchet, so it's good news. Summit soda we can get, probably frozen solid, but here's what it is. Everything else looks good there. Not quite a blizzard yet, but very windy, heading towards a blizzard very quickly. We had almost a mini blizzard while we were in Pleasant Valley sleeping and preparing to get up here to Timberwolf Mountain, but it decided to fizzle out and not do anything. Which I guess is good for me. Now, especially if you're playing on Interloper, but even on Stalker, you do need to be very careful, and even in Voyager too, about sleeping in the Mountaineer's hut. It is considered an indoors location, but as you can see, let me step out real quick and get the full wind chill force for you guys. Come on, get unsheltered. I need full wind force. There we go, 37 right now. Air temperature is -2, wind chill's 28. My clothes only protect me from 10 degrees of wind chill, well, 18, sorry. I'm feeling 10 degrees of wind chill and 50 degrees of temperature differential. So, not very good. Actually, it's not even blizzard yet, it's just on its way there. I'm just gonna grab a few sticks, bolster up my stick supplies. There's plenty of wood in the area to collect, which you can use for everything, but you want to be very careful upon sleeping here. While it is an indoor location, it's only shelter from the wind. As you can see, it is exposed to the elements. You do have a fireplace to help keep you warm. It's air temperature of 16 degrees inside, so air temperature outside was 2, so it's about 14 degrees warmer inside, which isn't perfect. If this weather would have cooperated, I probably would have gone out and done a little bit more exploring to show you guys a bit of the area, but I'm trying to decide now what the best course of action is to do. And I missed the ski jacket upon my initial looting here, oddly enough. I'm usually pretty thorough about that stuff. Anyway, we already have 2 things. I can tear down the ski jackets later on. Clothing's looking very decent. Let me see what my protection rating is on the clothes. Protection 25%, so I am fairly decently protected from the wolves. Sprint at 72%, so I still have 3/4 of my sprint. But anyway, yeah, sleeping here is a process simply because of, this is one of my favorite things, getting up on the workbench. Simply because of the weather around here. And I missed a sewing kit too. Wow, I'm getting bad. With the weather around here, especially with how cold this region is, this region in terms of stock temperature is analogous to Pleasant Valley, in the sense that it's unpleasant. Up that creek is the proper way to begin a round of collecting the crates and opening them, as it is over here towards the right. And wind be danged, I'm going to show you guys this region. At least the first bits of it. So yes, you do want to be very careful about wolves. This stretch up along the hillside... cattails. The stretch up along the hillside here is relatively safe and free from predators, but you do have to be careful, especially if you go up over the back end of the ridge that way. There can be stuff, especially right over there. See where those stumps are? There can be a wolf up in there too. And another wolf down the hill in the ravine, which we can't see yet. Sadly, with the weather the way it's been, we can't even see the summit. So if you've never seen it before and are just watching, I apologize for the inability to see it. This is a hard region to survive in, especially if you're unfamiliar with the game and its mechanics. This is a potential spawn place for Interloper. My recommendations would be, if you spawn here on Interloper, determine where on the mountainside you are if it spawns you up on the mountain. If you are high enough up, you have a decent shot at making a run to the summit to get all the loot up there before coming down, resting up at Mountaineer's Hut, and getting the heck out of Dodge. This is not a region you can subsist in off of the loot that exists here. Really no setup for you to be able to get anything done. Especially with natural resources and everything else. Very difficult, especially with the wildlife and the terrain. So down that direction, you can see it drops off into the abyss. If it wasn't so bad weather, you could see the opposite side. There is a ravine down there with some crates. Where we're headed is over this way. We do have to watch out for Yogi. That's his cave down there. And Yogi doesn't like visitors much. There's also wolves and deer down here, and I'm guessing moose can be as well. Yep, there's Bear. He's out on his little patrol. We're just going to avoid him and see if we can't get to some of these crates super duper quick. With my trusty hacksaw. Now here's where we gotta be careful because this is wolf central. And with the trees, it's difficult to see where wolves are. They're usually up along the backside, so I'm going to err on the side of caution and go towards the bear. I'm not seeing any of my furry friends, which is good news for me at the very least. Are some crates up in there? Right, there's some. The wolves patrol gets awfully... Oop, high tree. Awfully close to. There's also some deer up in here, in this area, which is prime hunting... Ah, there's the wolves up there. Which makes it prime hunting ground. Now the bear's patrol does bring him all the way up in here. That's why that tree exists right there. You can climb up on that tree, be safe from either type of predator. Got the tail section right here, and this is where all the crates are. You have to be careful from both wolves and the bear when harvesting this stuff. Or the wings, sorry, not tail section, whatever. If I could speak properly. Know where I am. I have my bow at the ready in case of predators. It's usually safe around that back corner there, so I'm not too worried about creatures of malicious intent existing over that direction, but it always pays to be cautious. Now, last I saw Bear, he was that direction. Don't see any wolves up in here. Be cautious. Cargo containers have two sides to them. A lot of people miss that on their first run through. You want to make sure your hacksaw's in tip-top shape because you can break the lock. Okay, I found the soda container. Still no wolves in the AO. And the food container. This is why this can be incredibly good on Loper. There's Bear right over there. Is because you get a good shot at a bunch of high tier loot and food and stuff. The only problem is this region is so inhospitable.
I wonder if I can drop any of this here.
Depending on what we find in here, we may not be taking the loot back because I am a little overweight and tired. Oh, we're taking this. Medicine is perfectly important. Let's check that hacksaw. 74%, still golden. I believe that's the only other cargo container up here. Right now we just gotta watch out for Yogi Bear. Oh, is he colored? Does that look like he's got Aurora coloring on him? Hard to tell. Don't want to mess with Aurora bears at all, or Aurora wolves, and I cannot see the sky. And the bear's patrol, if we're lucky, should take him up and around, but I do have a backup plan in case he gets too close. But I should be able to just sidestep him by going back towards his cave. I think that's just his schnoz. And his breath that's showing up over there. He doesn't particularly look like he's glowing to me. This is about the safe distance you can get from a bear before they start to smell you. And bears have incredible sense of smell, although they may be blind as bats. Now that the bear is away from his cave, there are a quick few natural resources I'd like to steal from him while he's not guarding his home. This right here is the entrance to Echo Ravine, right here off on my right. And this leads you down to a nice little cave where you could shelter for the night. I wouldn't recommend it, but it is doable. With Mountaineer's Hut so close by, unless it was a blizzard, I'd recommend staying away from it. And then further on, there's more crates and some wolves. Now what I'm fixing to steal from the bear is the rose hips that he guards near his cave. It does seem like we might be getting some aurora in the sky, doesn't it? The way the colors are flashing against the snow. Hard to tell with the weather being as nasty as it is, though. And where'd those rose hips get to? Oh, there's reshy shrooms as well. And a big ol' fat fir log. Oh no, it's cedar. My bad. Anyway, while Bear's not here, we're just gonna steal his items. I think there's an aurora active. It's hard to see. I thought there were rose hips down here too. I guess I was blind and have forgotten. Alright, I swear there's an active aurora. You won't see colors like this every night in the sky. Green and purple in different directions. And we don't want to go too far to the right because there can be wolves over there. I really don't want to deal with aurora wolves, do I? Maybe that bear was glowing and I was just too far away to see it. Anyway, if this weather clears up, we'll be able to tell for certain. If it is an aurora, it's not a good time to be out and about. Wind is right in my face, which I hate. So slow. I want to head up over this ridgeline here because it's safe to do so. No shot at wolves up here ever in my experience, but one can never be too safe. We'll get this food haul back to the Mountaineer's Hut. Swear to God, there's an active aurora and I just can't see it. This wind does not help matters, neither does the snow. Oh, we finally got cold. It's 30 degrees outside now. Actual feels like -6 air with 30 degrees of wind chill. That's what I got the expedition parkas for. It's precisely this kind of weather. If I can find a second balaclava, I'll be happy. Got my deer down here I can hunt at my leisure when I want to. Oh, I'm so slow. Look at how slow I am. Part of that's due to how tired I am. Rope climbs really sap you, quickly and hard. It is possible to do all the rope climbs, at least going the long way around. Oh, don't tell me you're going blizzard on me now. It is possible to do all the rope climbs going up and around in one go, provided you are fully rested when you start the first one and drink a cup of coffee before each one. However, it's incredibly dangerous and you will be completely exhausted by the time you reach the top. So I wouldn't recommend it going all three in one go. I'd recommend sleeping in one cave after the second rope climb before moving on to the third. The first order of business, of course, once you get to the summit, is to chop wood, because you're going to be up there a day or two. Between opening crates, sorting gear, and deciding what you're taking down on your initial run versus leaving behind. I think it's about time we bow in for the night, because I am A, tired, B, hungry, and C, can't move. Hardly. to this inclement weather. And yeah, Timberwolf Mountain is a region for bad weather. Surprisingly, my water protection is doing very well. Interestingly enough, this is supposed to be the outer layer, isn't it? Or is it only inner? Yeah, it's only inner, my bad. It is what it is. It doth be what it doth be. Anyway, let's just deposit this food. I'll get stuff sorted onto the shelves later, but... Oh. This is bad news bears. Why are all the peaches at 3%? I don't know if I dare eat those. The pork and beans are decent. As is the soda. That peaches may just be thrown out. The loots on crates like that are dice rolls when you open them, but it applies to just about everything of the same item type in it, which is odd. I know, but it is what it is. Now in here, yes, I should be warm. Very warm. Drink that soda, and we'll... Ooh, I still have all that lantern fuel too I don't want. Forgot about that. There we go. Chopping dead weight off. It is nice to get your meds completely stacked, though. Alright, let's eat and sleep, and that'll be it for this episode. I hope you guys did enjoy as much as I enjoy making it for you. If you do, go ahead and consider leaving a like or subscribe, comment, whatever, and I will catch you guys in the next one. I've been Lonelywolf, and until next time.